What a time to start a comedy podcast. So it is the year 2020, and we have coronavirus made her grand entrance. We have protests. We have killer hornets that look like dogs. It's an election year. This year has been so insane, and this year is going to be in the textbooks. Like, my grandkids are going to come up to me like, "Hey, Grandma Mary," and be like, "Shh, we're not going to talk about 2020." So there's just so much happening, and before I get into the comedy aspect of this podcast, I definitely want to address the protests and what's going on with George Floyd. And what happened to that man is so awful, and that this is still going on in 2020 makes me really sad. But I'm praying for justice, I'm praying for unity, and I'm praying for peace, and I'm praying that the changes that are happening, that they only continue. And I'm just proud of everybody coming together and fighting for what's right and fighting for justice. So I'm so happy with the progress that has been made so far, and I only hope that in time, hopefully much sooner rather than later, everyone can feel like they belong here. And even though there's so much happening so quickly all the time, it's just important to realize that you have control over your actions, over how you react to things, over how you talk to people, and over how you think. So I just know I'm taking the appropriate steps every day to be kind, to do the right thing, and to make sure that the right things are happening when I'm around, when I have the control, and even when I don't. Just make sure that whatever you can do, you do, because injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. I probably messed that up, but it's the truth. And I just know from all of this I've learned so much, and I just hope that we can all grow and continue to work together, to communicate, and to love one another, because that's what this life is about. The only thing that truly matters in this life is love. And I'm going to be helpful. I'm going to be a good person. I'm going to make sure that every day I'm growing, I'm learning, and I'm trying my best to make this world a better place for everyone I know, for my friends, my family, and strangers, for everyone around me. That was my TED Talk. Thank you for joining. TED's Talk? TED Talks? Because TED Talk sounds weird. That was my TED Talk. Thank you for joining me. This is Mary Grace Sopran. That was it, everybody. You heard it here first. I'm hoping now we can laugh a little bit, so I will do my best. That was the Febreze thing that sprays automatically in my house. If the mailman comes while I'm recording, there's going to be problems. Just kidding. There's not going to be any problems. Come on, you know me. So I saw this meme. Or is it a meme? I'm at the age now where I'm not really young anymore. So, like, I'm in the middle of being young and, like, 60 years old at the same time. So I don't really know what, like, classifies as a meme. Because every time I show my sister something, and, like, my little sister, she's going to be 20. And she's like, "That's not a meme. What are you, stupid? That's not a meme." So maybe it wasn't a meme. I don't know. But I saw this image with some words under it. And it was a picture of a fire that was happening during the protest. And it said coronavirus was like, "I'ma head out. I'll be back in the fall." I know for a fact when that looting happened in New York City, that coronavirus came out of Gucci with a new Gucci bag, a new Gucci belt. Coronavirus came out like, "New virus, who dis?" Like a brand strand. That's a strand that's branded. That's a brand strand. You know, Corona was wearing those expensive sunglasses. And anybody who wears like really expensive sunglasses doesn't even like wear them to cover their eyes, to shade them from the sun. They literally just wear them hanging on their nose, like halfway down their nose. And that's how she walked out of Gucci, with her bag, her belt, and those glasses hanging halfway down her nose. So it's just to show that she has money. Has nothing to do with protecting her eyes from the sun, protecting her eyes from that UV. Nothing to do with that. Corona's evil like that. Now moving on to something equally important. Toupees. So, first of all, why are they going to name something like a toupee? Like give it 2 E's and a little accent mark. Like you're already making the name funny. Why are you making the name funny already? It's already a funny object. It's already a funny object, and you're going to call it a toupee. So I literally watch the news now just to see if Trump is outside or near an airplane, because I'm trying to see if that's a toupee or not. I have this conversation with my mother all the time. She's like, no, it's not a toupee. It hasn't flew off yet, so how is it a toupee? And I'm like, Mom, like, you got to remember, he's the president. You know how much money he has? He could get state-of-the-art toupees. You know what kind of glue he has? Like, the Febreze thing again. But I'm going to say it's a toupee. But I literally watch the news now just to see if he's outside. And if he's not outside, I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed. Because I just want to see if it flies off. And there's a much better chance of it flying off if he's, of course, outside or near a plane. And if not, I turn it off. I don't even need to see the news. I'm there for one reason only. If I had one wish, all I want is just like one gust of heavy wind. That's all I want. I don't want much. That's all I want. Like, I don't know why men are so against it. Like, if I was a man, I would shave my head on purpose. And on purpose, I would go out on windy days just so it could fly off. And I would make sure I place myself in large crowds with children and elderly, just so I could get like a genuine reaction. That's what I would do. I would have so many. I'd have like multiple on me. I could literally talk about having a toupee all day, but I won't, because I have self-control. I'm not even playing though. Like I would have like a blonde toupee, a black hair toupee, a brown hair toupee, red hair toupee, and I would just switch it up. Like nobody would even know that I was that odd man that stood in the middle of the crowd last time with the toupee, because I'll have a different color toupee. Nobody would even know it was me. Like, men with toupees, what are you doing? You have an opportunity that not many people have. So go into a large crowd on a windy day and make that shit happen. Make it happen. And I hope it's another, if I had one wish. I would love to be in that crowd. Because I know, that was my dog. And for a fact, you would get a reaction out of me. I would smile. Because it's a cool thing. It's not bad. Toupees rock. Toupees are awesome. There's no shame in the game, baby. There's no shame. So speaking of self-control, I actually did some physical activity this week. And it was a necessary evil. Because I rolled into bed last week. And as I was rolling, I was like, like there's no reason for me to be out of breath by just rolling myself into my bed. I didn't even do like an Olympic jump into my bed. I didn't run into my bedroom. I walked and then I rolled onto my bed and I was huffing and puffing. So I said, you know what? I have to do something about this. Like, I literally have been eating everything in my house. Everything. The whole cabinet is just desolate. The only thing that's left are maybe like half of a funny bone or something. But that was my stomach. Oh my gosh. Yoko, you only quarantine once. But I realized, like, I'm getting chubby. Like, I don't look in the mirror and said, I'm getting chubbier. But I feel it. I could feel it, So, and when I laugh too, I realize it's getting a little bit difficult to laugh. Like, I feel a little suffocated when I laugh. So I think that's also a problem. Like, the pitch of my laugh has changed. Like, I used to be like, ha ha ha, like that. And I was like, ha ha ha. Like, because the fat is suffocating my vocal cords. And I Googled it. It's a real thing. So my voice is changing. And that's a problem. Like, it can't be happening. I don't want my laugh to change. Anything else can change. I don't care if I talk like this, but I don't want my laugh to change. So I'm proud of myself because I haven't exercised since, like, real exercise, like at work I walk around, but real exercise since last Thanksgiving because I got hit with that Shmononucleosis, that mononucleosis, that cousin of herpes. I got mononucleosis and I was in bed for like a month, a whole month. And then I got the flu right after that. And then I got a series of other colds because when you have mononucleosis, your immune system is down. I'm just thankful I didn't get it during coronavirus time because that would have been bad news. That would have been very bad news. But I said I have to start doing something, especially now that, my family isn't as busy because they're like working from home or they're not working as many hours. I've been trying to go out and walk at least, do that casual power walk, walking a little bit faster than usual to get that heart rate pumping, because my heart's all dusty in there. But let me just go back to, I was going to say coronavirus, to the whole herpes thing real quick because you can't say a sentence with herpes in it and not explain what's going on here. So with mononucleosis, it's usually what children get because children always have their hands in their mouth and they're always like eating pennies and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure I got it from the Golden Corral because that place, their food is delicious. Do not get me wrong. But their utensils and their plates are a little foggy. I'm not going to lie. I try to ignore it because I'm usually hungry when I'm there. I try to ignore it because I do not bring plates and forks with me. I try to ignore it because it sort of kind of takes away from the experience. I'm not going to lie. But I have a feeling I got it from there because I should have sued, to be honest. Because I knew a person when I was in my 2-year college, his mother would sue everyone. This woman was like the pioneer of suing people. Like she went to McDonald's and she asked for like a certain amount of ice cubes and this woman counted the ice cubes and she sued because she did not get that amount. I don't know if she won because that's a tough thing to prove or win. But I have 2 other funny times she sued. It's fantastic. Like I lived to hear this guy's stories about how his mother would sue people. Which one's funnier? She went to Gold's Gym and this woman ended up getting pink eye from Gold's Gym and she sued Gold's Gym. And this one, I remember when he told me, I laughed in his face and I didn't want to because this is his mother. So he told me, he was like, yeah, my mother was in Target over the weekend. And this woman was looking at furniture in Target and she was looking under a desk and she got up too quickly and hit her head. And I think he told me she passed out or something because she hit her head that hard. And she's suing Target because she was looking at furniture carelessly. Girl, that's not Target's fault that you busted your head on their furniture. But I laughed. I tried not to laugh. I couldn't help myself. So back to exercising and the great biking incident of 2020. So me and my father decide to go bike riding. And he has I don't know the types of cars, to be honest. I always got confused with that. I guess a compact, like what a taxi looks like. That's the shape of his vehicle. So he has an adult-sized bike, and I have a child's bike, and it's called Starlight or Starbright or something like that. So my bike is never a problem. It's always his bike. So to be able to fit both of our bikes in the back seat of his car, we have to push our seats, the passenger and the driver's seat, all the way up. So the way Sopranos do things is with brute force. Like if something's hanging out of a closet, we're going to like run as fast as we can into the closet to force it in there rather than like organize it. So, and we were getting flustered. Like it was really hot out and all we wanted to do was bike ride. And it was a hassle bringing those bikes down the steps already. We were already like huffing and puffing, just bringing it down the steps. So then we put it in the back seat. So both of the bikes are back there. Mine is no problem at all. Like I said, I have a child's bike. So it's like 15 years old and I still use it. So, but I got that Cloud 9 seat on it. So it's like I'm sitting on a cloud. So I don't mind bike riding anymore. There's no pain, no gain. And I got no pain now, only gain. So we fit it in the back seat and my dad closes one side of the two back doors. He closes one and it's great. But what happens is when you close the door and something doesn't fit, it's pushing it on the other side. So my dad goes to the other side and he tries to close the door and it doesn't work. And then he does it again really hard. And he has tints, so he couldn't really see what was going on. So all I see is he's like, oh no, no, no. And then he goes up to the wall and he like just lightly, like sadly hits the wall and he's like, no. It was like a movie. It was a whole movie. And then I'm like, oh my God, this man closed his arm in the door. And then I look at him. I'm like, Dad, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. And then I'm like, what's going on? And then I walked over. He did not close his arm in the door. The bike handle broke the entire window and shattered it into a million pieces, but it's still intact because of the tint. It's like a gel. So it's like a triangle. It's pointing outward and it's a triangle. I was like, Dad, do you want me to fix it? Because, do you want me to just like push it out? Because I don't know if we could be driving like that. And he's like, no, Mayor, it's fine. Maybe they could fix it. Maybe they could fix it. He had a lot of false hope that they could fix that. Maybe he could pay less money. Remember, this is during coronavirus. So this is a whole disaster because everybody we're calling is like, oh, it's $250, but we can't do it for another week, blah, 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 because we don't have people in or we're not getting the glass shipped to us in time. So me and my dad, if any of you know the area behind Citi Field, it's like a bunch of car shops and it's like really cheaply done. It's cheap to get things fixed there because I think a lot of the stuff comes from like junkyards and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, Dad, why don't we go there? Because, if anything's open, like they're definitely going to be open if they can because these people really want, they're there to make some money. So as we're driving over there, I knew this whole glass thing was going to be a bad idea. But like I said, my father was already upset and he was like sad. So I was like, I'm just going to let it happen. You know what I'm saying? So we were driving and we turned the corner really fast because he's like trying to get to the destination already. And all you hear is slam because all the glass falls out of the car onto this, like the turnpike that we're on. And people are just running over it. It was an absolute disaster. And I turn around and like all the glass is gone. It's gone. Rest in peace. It's all finished. So then we drive to the area by Citi Field, which is in Queens, New York. We drove over there and then some guy, he like whistles at us and he's like, hey man, your back window is broken. Your back window is broken. Like we definitely know. But he was like, it's broken. I can get you a good price. And then we're like, all right. And then this man hops in the back of our car seat. My dad's like, all right, get in. Just get in then. Fine. Just get in. He hops in. And he drives us to the area, and we've been here many times because they do a good job. They do a good job, 10 out of 10. So we drive there, and then a whole bunch of people like crowd our car because they want, if they can make the sale to you, they'll do it. Like whoever's there wants to make your money. Like there must be like 20, 30 shops there. They want to make your money, so they like crowd over your car. It was like if you're crowd surfing, but you're the car, and then the other people are the people. So they run up to us. They're like, hey. And then we're like, oh, no, we were with this guy that's in our friggin' back seat. And he hops out. And the guy's like, yeah, I could do it. Like my dad already had a price set in his mind and it's like $150. And Sopran's always like, when we're rationalizing prices, we always think of like the cheapest amount that we want to pay. And then we set that in our minds and then we have a standard. And we're not going to pay any more or not much more than that. So he had like $150 in his head and he told me that before the guy came up to the car to tell him like how much it was going to be because he had to take a look at the damage. And he was like, all right, man, I could do it for $90. And my dad was like, okay, that's perfect, that's fine. And I knew like he was so happy. And then as soon as the guy walks away, he was like, Mayor, he's gonna do it for $90. It's fantastic. And then so this guy, we say yes to the $90 and stuff. So he hops on a bike. He slaps on a hat, this bucket hat, and he gets on his bike and he flies out. And he's gone for like 30 minutes. And he comes back and he has the glass in his hand. And he did it for us. And now my dad's glass is fixed. But it was a shenanigan. It was the biking incident of 2020. Like, who do you know that has broke the glass window of their car in the name of bike riding, for the sake of bike riding. All we wanted to do, we were trying to do a good thing, exercise our minds, exercise our bodies. That's all we were trying to do. And that happened. But we're very lucky. That man did a good job with his bucket hat and his bike. Who knows what happened in that 25-minute span? Who knows? And none of us need to know. None of us need to know. The job got done, and we are happy. And then after that, I was like, Dad, do you still want to go bike riding? Because I was like not really in the mood to go bike riding after all of that happened, because it just puts you in a bad mood. And plus, I get exhausted very quickly. I think I'm definitely lacking some kind of vitamin. But that's for another podcast episode. So we ended up deciding to go bike riding because it was a lot of hassle just to do all of that. And then we figured we can actually fit the bikes in the back if we move the seats all the way up, where I look like, the pieces of garbage in the landfill that they close together like in WALL-E when they become square. Like, that's exactly what I look like. And like my forehead is touching the airbag. So if there was an accident, rest in peace to me, because that's what would have happened. But you gotta do what you gotta do. We have no other choice. So we ended up going bike riding at Jones Beach, and they have like it was like false information, because they said you could easily ride your bike up to the Jones Beach Amphitheater, which is their concert hall, and you can't. Like, first of all, you have to ride through this park, and it's like I think 15 miles total to get to the Jones Beach Amphitheater. And me and my dad, like I said, he's been exercising every day, but I haven't been exercising since Thanksgiving with mononucleosis. So I'm not just going to be able to be Lance Armstrong. I think that is the bike riding man, the famous bike riding man. I don't know anybody else, but I'm not going to be like Lance Armstrong. There's no way I can just hop on that bike and go ride around town for 2 days. There's no way I can do it. So we did 3 miles there, 3 miles back, and there was gnats everywhere. Gnats in my mouth, gnats in my face. Like, I was punching the air because I was trying to get rid of these gnats. Just get out of here. Like, what are you doing here? Well, I smell that delicious to you? Why? Because I'm chubby? Why? What's the real reason? Why are you here? Why are you in my space right now? So there's these small little bridges you bike over, and it's over water, and they're really small, and you're supposed to walk your bike over, but apparently not. Nobody walks their bike over, so me and my dad rode our bikes over, and this woman on roller skates, it's like she's just learning how to use roller skates, and this is like the Autobahn. People are going so fast that your hair's blowing back in the wind. That's how fast you're going, and this woman is learning how to use her roller skates. This is not the place or the time, lady. So she's in front of me, and I'm behind her, and I have to like brake, and it almost caused like a 20 bike pile up on this little trestle. Oh, Febreze again. How many times is that gonna go off, man? What is it, every 10 minutes? So, yeah, but I almost crashed into her, and the melee it would have been if I would have crashed into her. It would have been a disaster. So I had to like brake where my tires went, ee, like it made the noise. And I was just stuck behind her. And many people almost died in that instant. But thank the heavens, I have good reflexes, and I stopped in time. I also almost crashed into a child because the child was driving on the wrong side of the bike road. And this mother was just letting it happen. Like, me and your child almost collided because your child is driving on the left side of the road. What is this, Europe? So as of right now, my bike is in my car, and I live in the hood. So I'm just lucky I have tints. But you know how awful it would be? Because my car's on the street. My sister has the driveway. So my car's always on the street. And you know how awful it would be if somebody were to steal my car that had my bike in it. So you're stealing my every mode of transportation. And then I would be stuck with the bus. And I don't know how to take the bus like that. So I'd have to walk. Just imagine that sad state of affairs. So I have to I have to bring that in the house. So, because my luck, somebody will not just steal my bike or not just steal my car, they'll take both. And then I'll be up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. And the last time I was on the bus, I got spit on. So that's not going to happen anytime soon. Before I end the second episode of Misadventures with Mary Grace, I just want to talk about how I did an online comedy show, stand-up show 2 weeks ago. So that was really interesting and really fun. It was for Eats and Giggles Comedy Show. It was an East Coast show. So I actually was doing it with two of my friends, Shanae and Amanda, who are also fellow comedians. And it was really cool. We had to do a minute of stand-up. And your girl did the Farmers Only joke. If you want to check it out, it's on Eats and Giggles Comedy Show. That's their Instagram. And you can watch the whole competition or the whole stand-up verses. It was like a verses kind of thing. And it was just a really good show. It was really fun. I had a great time. And my Farmers Only joke slapped. It slapped. So that was a really cool thing. And I wanted to bring that up. And I just wanted to talk about how different it is online. Because it's so weird. It was literally, I was doing it in my living room. And I had to get the cat off the couch. And it's just, you don't get a reaction right away. You can't sort of kind of tell what a reaction's going to be. And it's just a totally different setting. So it was just interesting to do that. And I'm happy because I haven't done stand-up in a decent amount of time because since coronavirus hit, I haven't been doing it. So it was just good to get out there. And I just feel really confident in my material. And it makes me really excited to go back and do some more stand-up, do some more improv when the world opens back up. And I'm so excited. So if you want to check that out, you want to check out some funny comics, it's on their page in their live video section. And harmony. That was a harmony right there. I was called a soprano in high school. We all had to do ha. And the teacher was like, "You're a soprano," right away. And I was like, all right, well, I tried my best. Sorry I was born with vocal cords with chub around it. I tried my best. So thank you so much for tuning in. This was such a good time. I had such a wonderful time recording this. And I can't wait to hear what you have to say. If you have any feedback, you want to ask me a question, you want to have me speak about a topic, you want to argue with me, you want to fight with me, message me, DM me on the Misadventures Podcast Instagram, which is Misadventures Podcast. You can follow me at Mary Grace Zapran, CZAPRAN, on the gram, the Insta, the IG, the Instagram. I'm on YouTube, the Tube, Mary Grace Zapran, or I have my personal YouTube, which is where I did some office-style mockumentary stuff, and then I also did some interviewing and some Mary on the Street stuff, so that was really cool, so definitely check that out. It's a good laugh, it's a good time. There's some cannabis stuff in there, pretty funny. And that's my personal YouTube, and then my Misadventures Podcast YouTube, which is just the podcast, but if that's the way you want to listen to it, it's on YouTube at Misadventures with Mary Grace, and that'll come up. So thank you so much for tuning in. You don't know how much I appreciate it. I love you all. Have a great week, cousins, and you'll be hearing from me soon. Bye. Bye. You just got harmonized.